Being real has always been a part of Fat Joe's image, but when you line up his interviews, it turns out that a lot of details don't match up. Let's break them down.
Joe has been on the forefront of the culture for a long time and has rubbed shoulders with some of the biggest stars there is. Because of his 30+ year tenure in the game, he has plenty of interactions worth discussing with the masses that have made major headlines when they've been reported. Whether it was turning down the opportunity to sign with Eminem 6 times or helping to carry the flag of Puerto Ricans in hip-hop, Joey Crack has left an indelible mark on the culture.
Yeah, Eminem, he gave me his demo like 6 times. What? Yeah, I fucked up big time. Yeah, you. Biggest mistake in hip hop history, Fat Joe.
So much so that he feels confident to puff his chest out and say that in a sea of frauds and fakes, he stands tall.
I'm gonna admit something. I think I'm the realest rapper ever lived. If I keep it a buck with you besides Tupac, I really believe that.
But while Joe thinks he's one of the true dons in the culture where authenticity is often hard to come by, the problem he's running into is that people are seeing a new side of him, and it's one that's anything but the honest figure that he portrays himself as. Because the more and more he talks, it feels like he's changed from Fat Joe to Cap Joe.
Long ago, Fat Joe came out and said he lied in 95% of his rhymes. What did you think of that?
He told the truth for the first time, that he's a liar. That you can't believe nothing that comes out of his mouth. He's a liar.
When it comes to hip-hop legends, there are few who've been accused of embellishing their stories from time to time. Think Snoop Dogg, Soulja Boy, and even someone like Rick Ross, who essentially stole another man's identity wholesale and parlayed it into a music career. But at the minute, Fat Joe's sheer volume of half-truths have helped him to earn the dubious reputation as a man who is a compulsive liar that'll say anything to stack the odds in his favor or to escape the consequences of his actions. Among the many things that people are taking issue with is his recent attempt to rewrite his own history.
I feel like a majority of the rappers do that though, exaggerate or just tell stories. It wasn't really until like the drill rap became popular that rappers were actually rapping about the stuff that they actually do and did and are gonna do. But before that, when it was just kind of like regular rap, they all did that. They all exaggerated and it's talked like that.
After years of being known as Joey Crack and Don Cartagena, a recent appearance on CNN saw the legendary Bronx rapper try to clean up his image as he portrayed his rhymes as fiction.
I've been rapping professionally for 30 years. I've lied in almost 95% of my songs. I'm being honest. Lied.
Lied how? What do you
just
mean?
go.
Lie.
I write like I feel that day. I'm just being creative. You know, if you could probably you couldn't build the jail high enough for the lyrics I've said on songs, which are all untrue. What I am is a family man, the person who gives back to my community all the time, open businesses in my community. So the music would never amount to the actual person, Joseph Cartagena.
This came during a segment on lyrics being put on trial, and while his intentions seemed to be to explain why they shouldn't be admissible in court, admitting that you cap in your raps is a very inadvisable thing to do in a culture that demands realness. Even so, Joe has since had to clarify and basically walk back the idea that his gangster image was an illusion.
And I say, yo, 95% of the stuff I say ain't true. Letting them know. Like, if you could think Rico Love is on here is one of the greatest songwriters ever made. You know, the album that Usher sold 10 million, everything, Rico Love wrote that. There's no way Rico could tell me every word was real, because it's not. We move off of inspiration. And so we get inspired, and then one day I'll go to the studio, I'm mad. So I write some fuck the police. One day I'm happy with the family, I go in the studio and I write about love and peace and tranquility. And then I write some gangster shit. You know, what I'm explaining to you, putting myself on CNN, on the hot seat for hip hop culture and hip hop music. And I had to say 95% of what I say is a lie so that they could understand that it's unfair to try some kids for the rest of their life.
But for all that people didn't buy his attempts to sanitize his image, they aren't necessarily 100% down with how he portrays his backstory either. Because as it turns out, his tendency to cap dates back to his reflections on his early life. If you ask Fat Joe, he was a menace growing up. And not just in the bodega's candy aisle. Over the course of his time in high school, Joe was allegedly defeating trained fighters.
I'm gonna say something that might sound really weird to everybody, but
If I hear it one more time, some novice thinks that they can beat up a professional fighter, man. If you like videos like this, where we break down people's image and compare it to reality, hit the subscribe button. Break down videos like this 3 to 4 times a week.
Fat Joe's a black belt. Those, get ready. Let me get a flag.
I fought enough niggas karate. I beat a karate expert up one time in Morris High School. That nigga used to come with the trophies.
Now look at this.
Yo, you saw it with the flags.
Look at Jada.
They thought, I beat that boy. He know if he alive. He know I'm gonna get the smoke out that nigga. He used to come to the school with the trophies like he was a karate king. I beat the brakes off of him in front of. He thought niggas was scared of him because he was karate. That shit don't work over here. What I was gonna say to you,
He ain't catch you with nothing. He ain't catch you with a chop or kick, nothing.
he was kicking and I was going, by the fourth one, that boy was out of. Yo, was like, yo, my man, this ain't the flicks, B. Right. This is rock 'em and sock 'em, nigga. The Bronx. You got socked. Yeah. But listen, that wasn't even where I was going with him. He lined me up every episode. He lined me up. Yo. Be careful.
But as unlikely as this seemed, it pales in comparison to Joey Crack's claim to have robbed an entire gym class, or even more ludicrously, that they actually helped to make his escape with the goods.
I once robbed my whole gym, the whole gym.
Like
70 kids
robbed them?
without a gun. Like, yo, everybody give me your coats, give me your Walkmans, give me your this. Some of the kids I was actually cool with. And I was like, yo, run it. Everybody, run it. I couldn't even carry it. Some of the guys I robbed had to help me carry the stuff with them.
Oh my gosh. Come on, Joey Crack. There's not 70 kids from New York is not allowing you to rob them by yourself with no firearm. Come on, man.
To absolutely no one's surprise, people weren't just ready to accept that at face value. But that doesn't mean they weren't entertained by it. Fat Joe is one of them dudes that you know be lying, but you act like you believe him to hear what else he comes up with next. Then you gotta go home to your girl like, guess what this dude Fat Joe told me? The first lie was that he robbed his whole gym. We all know straight up that he never went to no gym. Over time, this story has lived on in infamy to the point that it led to Will Mills to label him as the rap game's biggest liar.
One of the biggest lies was that he said he robbed a whole gym, a Bronx school gym, the Bronx.
Right,
I saw
right.
Fat Joe when he was younger. He was a fat kid. Now, knowing how gyms are at recess in school, at any given moment, there's gonna be between 70 to 150 kids in there at one time, right? He said he robbed 70 kids by himself at no weapon, at hand point, right? Went around, robbed everybody. So everybody stayed put. Nobody decided to jump him. I'm painting a picture here for you, right? He said he had so much stuff that some of the people he robbed helped him carry it. Come on, bro.
Through stories like this, Joe has built himself as a mythical figure in the Bronx.
And where were the teachers at, too? Yeah, man, that's not flying in the Bronx, man. Man, someone from his high school has got to speak up on that.
But not all of his tales resolve around street life. In certain circumstances, his fictional tales are a way to boost his rep in the rap game, particularly when it comes to his dealings with fallen legends in the industry. Among the standout stories that caught Joe major flack was his claims that before the untimely passing of the legendary Biggie, the two had hooked up to record a joint album that was heavy on disses towards his then nemesis Tupac.
We did, but it never came out. And
Oh, really?
yeah, we did record. We was doing an album.
Was the song ever leaked or anything?
Nah, we did like 4 songs, but
You did 4 songs with Biggie that no one's ever heard.
never.
What the fuck?
I don't think you'll ever hear it.
Who's the producer?
If you do, you'll get upset.
Who's the producer?
It's Puff Daddy.
Okay, never mind.
So whatever, yeah. So
But without Biggie being able to confirm this revelation has come under a whole lot of
I mean, you could have just asked Puffy if that was true. Like, he's still around. I don't know when that interview happened. I mean, obviously it wasn't true, but you don't need to ask Biggie. Ask Puff if he was the producer. Yeah, there's no way that Puffy would have allowed those tracks not to get out. He hated Pac and them. Hated them. Yeah, he would have definitely leaked those. He would have, yeah.
suspicion. For one thing, Lance Unrivera, a former music executive who was perhaps best known for allegedly being stabbed by Jay-Z over a dispute about bootleg versions of his album, have cast skepticism over it.
I love Fat Joe, and Fat Joe is my guy. I love the Jada and Joe show, and now I know why they're running with the Joe's the king of Cap. I'ma call Cap without even knowing, right? Cause I don't know for sure, right? But I'm calling Cap that they're, cause if there was a real legitimate album, I would have heard about that, right? And I wouldn't have heard about them doing songs together.
The claim was also disputed by Lil Cease, who said that he wouldn't have made a project based on beef.
Big wasn't gonna put forth a full effort into a whole full song dissing Tupac. But I'm going to say some lines to let you know I'm aware of what you're doing, I hear it. And you know, Big was kind of more like just sprinkling on it. You know, on the Jay-Z record, if Faith had twins, she'd probably have Tupacs. He was kind of like, yeah, I'm letting you know I'm aware of it, but I'm gonna have fun with it, and I'm not gonna say too much because Big didn't really want to make it that. He didn't want to thrive, he didn't want to add too much fuel to it, but I'm gonna let you know, I hear you.
Besides that, he also claimed that he wasn't privy to any alleged tracks with Fat Joe, and as one of Biggie's most trusted lieutenants, he definitely would have.
I don't think so. I'm sure I was around for a lot of stuff, and I didn't hear none of that at all. Shout out to my brother Fat Joe too, but maybe that.
Yeah, Lil Cease would have been in the studio when they were recording those tracks.
Something he know. Maybe that's something I wasn't around for, but I didn't hear those records.
But him and Biggie was working on the album together, right?
They was talking about working on some stuff, but I don't recall no records getting recorded. I never heard none of them. You know what I mean? So I can't speak on that because I never heard the records.
With those who were around at the time claiming that there was no way this was real, the real question is why Joe would go through the trouble to lie about something like this. And if you ask former Terror Squad member Cuban Link, he believes it was a ploy to artificially boost his profile in the game.
He wants to put himself with the elites. He wants to be a tether. Isn't that what they say? The FBA says a tether. He wants to latch on to the legacy of Biggie now. He wants to latch on to the Biggie legacy.
As crazy as his tales about Big are, his ties to both sides of the great figureheads of the East and West Coast conflict actually remain under suspicion. As one of the biggest rappers in New York at the time, Fat Joe was naturally trying to carry the flag for the East as Tupac led a campaign against the rival coast. And back then, Joe insisted he was ready for war on Biggie's behalf.
So what happened was East Coast, West Coast, Biggie's my man. And to be honest with you, you know, they would really, I want to use my words correctly. Let's just say the West Coast was like leaning on New York, like really leaning on New York, like hard. The pressure was legendary, and the New York rappers,
Yeah, Pac was going in, man. And those West Coast guys, they know how to beef, bro. Freaking NWA, Eazy-E, Snoop Dogg. Yeah, those guys know how to have problems. The Game, K-Dot.
No, they just wasn't really coming back at them like that. And they was just violating, right? Doing crazy shit. I don't
came in New York,
talk about all type of shit going on, right? And so I'm in the radio one day, and they asked me the question, yo, Joe, what you think about Tupac and all that? I said, yo, he's cool, but, you know, if they step to me, it's gonna be some shit.
During that interview, Fat Joe mentioned that when his music aired, Tupac, who was incarcerated in New York City at the time, heard it along with everyone else in jail with him. This allegedly put Pac in a difficult spot, where the Puerto Ricans basically saw this as Joe putting a hit on the West Coast star. And if Joe is to be believed, this meant that he basically had to lay down the law to save Pac's life.
Tupac got beef with Fat Joe, no. And then we was still in the street hard.
Right.
So I said that in the interview, you gotta be careful. Your words could really create problems. So then I get on the phone call. I get a phone call from Greg Nice, who pretty much put me in the game, one of my brothers. He said, yo, Joe, I got Pac on the other line. I was like, Pac? So I pick up. Tupac, I don't want to elaborate too much, guys, but what I'm saying is Tupac was like, yo, these Puerto Ricans is on me. Like, you said something in the radio. I don't got a problem with you, Joe. Like this, I know what's up, this is. And so, you know, we sent the kite out to the Puerto Ricans and be like, nah. this ain't about that. Not on the strength of me, don't do that. And then they wound up being real tight with Tupac in there and holding them down in there. That's how that came about.
Despite the skepticism this caused, Tupac's fellow Outlaws crew member Napoleon has actually co-signed this to an extent.
You gotta understand that Fat Joe was a real street dude from New York. When Pac was in prison, Pac told him that Fat Joe people used to look out for him. The Puerto Ricans, he said Puerto Ricans used to hold me down.
Ultimately, Tupac isn't here to clarify what really happened, but
I can see that though. Like Fat Joe and Big Pun and all those guys they do have a lot of clout and a lot of connections and are big. And Terror Squad too was definitely also very in the streets and well connected and things like that. So I can see that happening, especially if Tupac was in a New York prison. I don't know if he was or not, if he was in New York or if he was in LA locked up, but yeah.
Even if Napoleon gave it the green light, Joe's version of events was disputed by Pac's cousin William Lassane, who said that it didn't check out.
The reason why I'm questioning that is because I know how the Puerto Ricans roll in prison, right? I know how they roll. And I know Joe is strong in New York with Puerto Ricans. I've been around Joe several times and he got Puerto Ricans around him that'll hurt something, for real, for real. But as far as Tupac being in prison and having to call Joe to keep the Puerto Ricans off his back because they think that he got beef with Joe in the street or some, I don't know about that. Mind you, I was going to visit Pac every month. If Pac was having problems with anybody in prison, I would have been the first to know about it.
As a proud Puerto Rican and Cuban, Joe was never shy about flexing his ties to the real street dudes in that circle, but this has caused problems in the past when he's gone too far with trying to put on for his heritage and said something that is just flagrantly not true. A little while back, Fat Joe sparked a major controversy when he claimed that Latinos were as instrumental in creating hip-hop as black people were.
And the history of how it started. Latinos and blacks created hip-hop. If you go to Wild Style, the first hip-hop movie, you will see the Cold Crush Brothers. Their DJ was Charlie Chase, Puerto Rican. And you'll go to the battle that they had with Romantic, which is the first Puerto Rican MC. Ruby D was in there with the Fantastic Romantic. You cannot eliminate the Latinos' contribution to hip-hop. When you talk about breakdancing, we talk about rock steady and Crazy Legs. When you talk about graffiti, like it's every element of hip hop. It was 50-50, bro.
This caused a major uproar and found him fighting a battle that even his compatriots didn't want to take him on. Latino contributors, not creators. Latinos had no part of the original influence, which was black people listening to music. Puerto Ricans had to go where black people were to experience hip hop, and I'm Puerto Rican. But it wasn't just fellow Latinos who were aggravated by his claims. After the clip went viral, Tariq Nasheed came at him.
In the movie, all the pioneers, they were like, yeah, when we were doing it, there just were no Latinos participating. We had a couple in the audience watching, but they just came later. They just weren't into it early on. And that's the truth.
Yeah, and listen, you've had very prominent Latinos over the years. Crazy Legs, of course, Big Pun, and Fat Joe, and Cypress Hill, MC Frost. Like, there's been a lot of very important figures in hip hop. But if you're talking about the original, then yeah.
Likewise, Lord Jamar let it be known that there was a big difference between being there in the aftermath of its invention and being there when it really went down.
Were they the first contributors? Yes. Did they do things to help proliferate hip hop? Yes. Were they, do we have valuable people from the Puerto Rican culture that has contributed? Absolutely. But in the beginning stages of hip hop, in the creation stages of hip hop, this was very much a Black American youth thing that had no outside influences from Puerto Rico or Jamaica or any other type of place that you may name. The influences, if anything, were from down south America. The influences were our parents' music. Like, it had nothing to do with any outside people, and any individuals that might have been from those places did not bring that culture to hip hop. They had to act black in order to assimilate to hip hop culture.
Aside from getting flamed for this claim, Fat Joe didn't help his case when he later contradicted himself, saying on the Joe and Jada show that his dad tried to discourage him from trying to rhyme due to lack of Latinos in the culture.
It was worse for me. I had a Cuban father.
He didn't understand you at all.
On the table, he definitely looking at. Now he was telling me the plain truth. He was like, "You're not going to make it. Have you seen any Spanish guys make it in this shit?" You're done. And I'm from the soil, the Bronx. And my father actually saw hip hop born. He was like, there's no other Spanish people doing this, Papi. Like, you have no chance. And I'm in the kitchen writing on the table.
Son, that's a black thing. I don't see nobody Spanish making it in that game. I don't see you having a future over there because of the fact the simple understanding is that's not their history, that's not their lineage, that's not their culture. That right there is what black people do, son. That ain't really us. Nah, later on you become a fan, but that's all this argument was.
Speaking on the Joe and Jada show, his reputation as the king of cap really kicked into overdrive, courtesy of his podcast with Jadakiss. In his short time in existence, Joe has rhymed off an endless array of questionable tales. And let's not forget the pause-worthy moments too.
You got the funniest part too is Kiss is like the first person to like call him out to you. That's the funniest part. You got your like your fellow co-host just calling cap on everything you say.
I'm a cereal glizzy eater. You know what I'm saying?
Whoa.
No, I'm telling you. Pause. Pause.
Yo, come on.
Pause. Pause.
Everything was going smooth.
Hold up.
What is this?
Hey.
Courtesy of his vivid imagination, Joe is leaving his co-host bewildered with some of his bizarre comments.
Because crack in the 80s, it first caught the fly guys. The fly guy. Like, in other words, me and you
it used to be a
might
cool
have
thing
been
to do
smoking
back
crack
then, yeah.
if it came out now.
No.
We ain't know. I'm just listen.
Fuck what you talking about?
This is why I'm saying. This is why I'm trying to.
I ain't
You
that
with
man
me?
made.
And when it comes to his stories, it's fair to say that some of the far-fetched names are ringing alarm bells. There are even...
I don't know what where he was going with that. If crack came out now, you'd not be smoking it. If you didn't smoke crack back in the 80s, then you're not going to smoke crack now.
times where it seems like he's subliminally borrowing from pop culture to create his stories.
I had an army since I was in kindergarten, bro. I'm telling you, a story, he rest in peace, Julio Fuente, my barber for many years. He said I was 5 years old, I walked to his barber shop with 20 kids. And he said, he was like, yo, I can't cut your hair with these 20 kids. And he said that I told them all to go outside and wait for me, and they all went outside. And that's when my barber, Julio Fuentes, told me, I knew you were the leader. I knew you were gonna run this shit. You was 5 years old telling 20 guys wait outside, right?
Julio Fuentes is Fred Sanford's neighbor. In this era, Joe's willingness to take undue credit for things is reaching Soulja Boy proportions. During a recent collab with Complex, he claimed that he was supposed to get his first Jordan sneaker collab by a rapper.
I was the first rapper with a Jordan sneaker. Not only that, designed by Michael Jordan.
But 7 meetings?
7 meetings. They had the whole sneaker, Puerto Rican insole with the coquille. Jordan wanted it a Latino flavor, and then that shit happened at the MTV Awards.
Look at Jadakiss Hawk.
Like, yo, security, this and this and that. I never forget, the next day I had a show in Jamaica. I went over there, the phone rang, and it was...
Look it up. He ain't believing a word. Look it up. He's like, I'm so sick of hearing this dude all day, every day.
Like, yo, Big Joe, you know, I'm not with controversy. You know, maybe we look at this in the future. That was the original first rapper having a Jordan sneaker.
Do you remember what models it was?
I believe it was a 3.
Okay.
It's either a 3 or 4. You can confirm with Reggie and everybody.
And of course, this wasn't enough. So he had to go one further and claim that he was the original shopper in the treasured sneaker store Flight Club.
I'm the first customer in Flight Club. Did you ever hear that?
No.
I'm the first customer in Flight Club, the other store.
There we go again.
I backed the U-Haul truck up.
Okay.
You had a whole line down the block, and they got dumb tight when I walked right in the Flight Club. I might have bought 100 pairs.
We all need a friend like Jadakiss to keep us humble. This dude is so fed up.
Sneakers threw them on the whole U-Haul. Broke out. They was dumb tight, the sneaker collection.
First shopper in Flight Club history?
First shopper. Walked right in. It was a line. The door wasn't open yet. Say it opens at 10, 9 a.m. They opened the door. Fat Joe walked in there, bought like 100 pair of kicks. I think my bill was like $30,000 or something.
Wow, I never knew that. Did you know that?
I gotta show you something every day.
Exactly.
I'm sure Flight Club knows, and I'm sure them people on that line know.
On other occasions, his stories have seen him insert himself into movements that he had nothing to do with, including claiming that he was a 5%er, a movement which stems from the Nation of Islam.
I come from a project called Godsville, right? So also, it was like the Mecca of the 5%ers. So I was the God Crack Kim, great God Allah.
Yo.
Nah.
Yo.
Yo, I'm telling you what it is, right?
Crack Kim is crazy.
You gotta, yo, listen. You gotta think.
What is this?
Listen.
Almost immediately, this was disputed by those who were verifiably involved in the movement, who said it would have never gone down that way.
No self-respecting 5%er, God, Earth, is gonna allow someone to incorporate negative with positive in their attribute/name like that.
So since crack is negative, it would not be a 5% name? You're right, I haven't heard any names that has
That's like
crack or killer.
Heroin God Allah, like cocaine God, like that shit.
Supreme.
It's some shit, like if you rolled up to a cipher and yo, peace God, my name is Cocaine God Allah, you would have received what is called a universal beatdown. Okay. You would have got what is called justice. Justice is one's reward or penalty for one's ways and actions.
In yet another attempt to cement himself in history, Joe has also claimed he was the first rapper in the famed Apollo Theater in Harlem.
And I swear to God, had to be God, because when I stepped on stage, they just went pandemonium. Like, they never heard a bar, Jada. It wasn't like you this, you name it. I never heard a bar. I stepped out stage 4 times. They made me retire because I was just winning every week. I ain't never known. And they never heard a verse. They could not hear a verse. It was just, the people just was just going, I tell them I was like the fat lady that goes, and I am telling you, I'm not going. Like, they win every week.
And while his time at the theater didn't help put his name out there, with Joe winning amateur night 4 times at the legendary venue, this is one of those cases where the story is strong enough without the extra hype. And trust me, it won't be the last time he does that. There are other times where he gets half the story right. For example, he once claimed that the late great Tupac Shakur spent his youth in the Bronx.
By the way, Tupac was born in the Bronx. Let's get that clear. Hold up.
To get up and walk out.
No. Could you Google where Tupac Shakur was born? He was born in Manhattan, raised in the Bronx. Okay, I was it don't care. New York. And because of the East Coast, West Coast beef, New York don't claim him like that, which is really weird.
He don't claim him in.
It's cool, but when you look at you.
Pac moved out of New York when he was so young. He grew up on the West Coast. So, how could he claim New York when he was only there for like a handful of years when he was a kid? And then all his drama stemmed from people from New York.
When you look at everything, Tupac is from New York. Technically, he's born in New York City, raised in the Bronx. Right? Now, it's the truth. Born in Manhattan.
Come on, dog.
What are you trying to say, Tupac?
In the Bronx?
Google that.
It don't even gotta
Google that. It ain't nothing like the old school. What are you talking about?
He wasn't raised in the Bronx.
He sure
was. Tell him that it don't say that, James.
Was.
Let him argue with Google.
They don't say it there, James?
Baltimore,
No, it's Baltimore after the Bronx. It's cool. Whatever y'all want to say.
He put his own
shit. Who cares? Listen to what I'm saying. Who gives a fuck?
I was completely wrong, but who cares? Keep listening to what I'm saying.
They say. Listen to what I'm saying.
The truth is, Pac was born in New York, spent time in Harlem and the Bronx, then moved to Baltimore at 13, before finally heading west where he became a legend. And sticking with stories about Shakur, there was even a time he said Tupac pulled him on stage.
How about this one? You want a cap one? You want a yo? So I'm just in the crowd as a fan. It was one of them Budweiser Superfests.
Oh, wow.
And the crowd started going crazy. And through the crowd, it's Tupac Shakur from Juice. And he's walking with Biggie Smalls. How about that one?
Mm-hmm.
I'm just in the crowd watching Big Daddy Kane perform. He stops. Yo, Crack, come on. All I got out is Flojo. Flojo #1 at the time, by the way, too. I'm standing on stage next to them.
That's crazy.
Okay? I'm on stage in Madison Square Garden with them. I remember Tupac pulling me up
on the stage. Biggie, I got 7 Mac 11s, about 8. Tupac even said, yo, Fat Joe passing the mic. Big Daddy Kane was like, not enough time, guys. Not enough time. He shut Joe Crack down. Not enough time.
Come on, man. Pac wasn't picking you up onto a stage, dog.
Times. This, that, this. It's cool because I knew for a fact I wasn't as good as Tupac or Biggie.
And while this has actually been confirmed by Big Daddy Kane, he did so with caveats. You were definitely there and supposed to go on, but your nose growing a little with the details, Pajokio. Your version sounds more exciting than mine though. By this point, Joe's tendency to cap on the show is so apparent that he and Jada are leaning into the joke. In fact, even guests are referencing it.
Y'all check y'all material on anybody?
Not on Fat Joe, I'm not. And just to leave out this building, there's 150 Puerto Ricans waiting on me outside. No, sir. Nope, not doing it. I didn't listen to too many of them stories. Like,
I love how your stories involve way too many people. Like wherever you are, you be like, yo, it was me and like 178 niggas. Like, man, Joe, how are you taking this many people with you everywhere?
Both of them tour bus. Yeah, all the way. Then it'd be all different types of dynamics of people. Yeah, it was me, it was 58 Dominican niggas, right?
I gotta set be like we perfect. Fuck that. I like a hot dog.
Well, why you tell me I gotta go to Turkey then, if that's the case?
Push back.
I thought it was vulnerability.
Like G-Rap took a shot at you.
He got one of the best shit ever.
Yeah, you ain't got one of the best.
You look like you was at the Django and they shot half your shit back.
The Django? Come on, man.
Jadakiss seems to embrace it too, with Crack's claims of his alleged Joey Badass signing attempt leading to Jada throwing literal flags on the play.
You know, I tried to sign Joey Badass when he was in high school. I'm just telling you the truth. When we bring him up, okay. When we bring him up, remember them flags. We're gonna go back to the videotape. You supposed to be with me, man. Why you with these Kappas and all that, man? Ask Joey Badass. What is this man? His brother is.
I gotta go to the bathroom. Time out. You take it.
I'm telling you the truth.
As for the audience, there's a real sense that is part of the reason they tune in. This man got more fairy tales than Walt Disney. As things have progressed, Joe has actually owned up to getting things twisted.
And I hear him tell the Cap stories. He exaggerates a little bit. Just a little
exaggerate.
But I was there for some of those things when it happened, so I know some of it is true. I know a majority of it is true.
Most of it is true. If I tell you 100 guys, it might have been 25. I'm gonna keep it a
But why, even though why?
That's about the only thing I can see with Cat, cause all my shit is backed up.
Receipts.
I got. There is a lot of guys who took smacks to the face out there that y'all call the biggest legends in the world, that they wearing it well, and they're looking at this show and they're like, that boy is not lying. I'm telling you the truth. There's a guy, somebody had to get punished. If I'm telling you these stories, I robbed the gym, I punished this one, somebody's father was punished out there and knows it.
It knows.
You know, I had to go to Yonkers one time.
I heard you heard the scrap.
Oh, you heard that? You heard I threw the whole block on the floor. Don't say that. The whole block on the floor.
The whole block?
I didn't. No. The whole block
I didn't
on the floor.
And at this point, he's acknowledged it's affecting his standing.
I think you still safe. Like, people don't think you crazy. Like, you've been crazy. No. I'm saying if we cancel, hold up. If we
It's because he doesn't say anything crazy, bro. You do.
cancel the show today, you will still walk out of here the same Jadakiss. I am the Cat King, a liar, a story evangelist.
What's happening?
I done sacrificed.
What is happening?
No.
Wait, is this what people saying about you?
We got the most lit show in the game.
I know. Why you think I'm here?
I know, sis, but what you gotta understand is when I tell them I'm the God Crack Kim, I will show them a picture of me 15 years old with the kufi on, and then if you swipe left, I got the metra. Just so you know, you might have robbed the gym. You know, my shit come with receipts, but it sound like, yo, this guy's going crazy.
No.
Fat Joe is losing his mind.
You know.
I almost wore the royal blue hat for the cat.
But while much of this is all in good fun, there are times where his relationship with what's real and what's fake gets a little more sinister. Particularly when it comes to his late friend and rhyming partner, Big Pun. During the 90s, Big Pun and Fat Joe put Terror Squad on the map. At the time, they were inseparable. And after Big Pun sadly passed away at just 28 from a massive heart attack, it was assumed that
young. Holy crap, 28.
Joe would ensure that Pun's family were good for life. But when a documentary revealed that Pun's wife was staying in a shelter, Joe, in response, took to Hot 97 to claim he's done the utmost to help.
She says, Joe, I'm broke, we got no money. I said, well, listen, people not gonna feel sorry for you because you're Big Pun's wife forever. I'm gonna get you some money. Now, what do you do? So she tells me, I like to do hair. I said, well, why don't you go to school for doing hair, and maybe you can open up 2-3 beauty salons and continue to support your family, because no one's gonna continue to pay your bills because you're Big Pun's wife. She had hundreds of thousands of dollars. I thought I did the right thing, Cypher.
Right.
Like, I thought I did the right thing. She spent the money unwisely, right? She comes back and says, Joe, I'm doing bad again. We give her a check out of our pockets. We say, yo, we got to take care. Because at the end of the day, Pun's my brother. I take care of over 30 people for the last 15 years. Like, 30 friends that they got to pay their family bills. They got to pay their rent. They got to pay whatever. Why wouldn't I take care of Pun's wife and Pun's kids? You understand?
And when it came to why he cut her off, he claimed it was because she was disparaging his fallen friend's name.
Calling them an animal and you calling them a beast. This is the problem I have with Liza Rios, is that at the same time as saying, I'm Pun's wife, take care of me, I'm Pun's wife, she's just
ran his name through the
basically
mud.
disrespecting his legacy.
This was the line that Joey persisted with for years, claiming that he'd done the utmost to provide. But according to music publishing expert Gongo Goo Roach, the truth is that Joe defrauded Big Pun's family.
Joe was telling her that, oh no, he owed me money. You know what I'm saying? Then all of a sudden, a bunch of fake royalty statements started to come biannually saying, you know, you're in debt, you're in debt, you're in debt, you're in debt. And then for about 14 years, from about 2000 to 2014, fake royalty statements was coming up.
2000 to 2014?
Yeah, fake royalty statements were coming. The same stuff that they had. It probably took me like a minute and a half to see the deception. I called her up, told her I paid for the case, paid for the auditor, took him to court. You know, Joe was all over the radio basically saying, I gave her $750,000, I gave her $250,000. I told the bitch, enough's enough. Everybody bought it and believed it. You know, he has the big platform. He could call Envy or all these other people and go in their radio station and be like, look, she's lying. And, you know, she can't do the same thing. You know what I'm saying?
After extensive litigation, Gongo claims he eventually got his wife what she was owed, even if Joe denies it.
Yeah, for 14 years. But like I said, took him to court probably September 2014. By the time I think March, we were in settlement by the time March 2016 came. He was in mediation. And I mean, according to him, there was never a court case. He was on Drink Champs and other platforms basically saying, I went to court and the judge said, what are you doing here? And I walked out. He basically went on the platform saying that there was no court case.
Reportedly, this even hindered the release of a new project to celebrate Pun's life because he wanted his name to be cleared.
Even though she got vindicated through court, still nobody reaches out to her. You know what I'm saying? Say, oh, my bad, or I see what happened, or anything like that. And then you know what else Joe did? This was crazy. So after, you know, we were trying to do a Big Pun movie and stuff like that, right? And basically, you know, we were like, hey, you know, let's get Joe involved. You know what I'm saying? Because it's gonna be bigger with Joe. If you do it without Joe, Joe can get all these other people involved and make it real big. That's truthful, you know what I'm saying? But he was basically saying like, well, if you go on Instagram or if you go out there and tell publicly that I never stole from you, then I'll work with you. Otherwise, I'm not working with you. She's like, why would I do that? You stole from me. You know what I'm saying? So he wanted her to change the story up. You know what I'm saying? So then if she did do that, now all people are gonna be back on her ass in the DMs and telling you bitch, you lie and all that other shit. You know what I'm saying? It was crazy, but I don't understand how people just let him lie. Because not only that, people were calling me saying like, oh, you never took him to court and you a bullshit and stuff like that. And like what I do is like, I look at it as an art. Because it's not easy, you know what I'm saying? And it's like he's messing up my art at the same time. So I gotta be vocal about, you know, I gotta be defensive about my work.
To this day, the topic remains a sore subject for Pun's wife, to the point that she walked out of an interview when it was suggested that she should apologize to Joe.
Why is it 20 years, how long, and you guys still haven't managed to really like settle? Like, and he said that he wants just an apology. You can't do that? Like, as in...
Are you serious?
No, I'm asking you.
Why would I give him an apology after what he put my family through and what he did legally?
Was it legally? Like how?
You know what? Can we stop this for a second?
Yeah.
I'm leaving this interview.
Well,
because this is like a whole Fat Joe situation now.
No.
Yeah, I'm good. I'm good off of this.
On account of everything he said and done, it's easy to see how he's become known as the King of Cap. But there's a level of delusion that goes along with it, as he actually believes that if anything, his new podcast will vindicate him.
The one thing this show, I'm not gonna lie to you, has done for me. You see, look at his face, he grabs his hat. Because he's like them.
When people say I'm not gonna lie, it's followed by a lie.
Yo, Jada, I don't lie. That's the whole point I'm getting to, Jada. And the one thing this show has done for me is prove that I'm not the Cap King no more.
You got a couple cases where you fixed. You definitely got the. They definitely owe you a few apologies.
All my shit is real. We do this story with Nelly and Ashanti. 50 Cent throw it up and said, no cap detected. You understand? Before they used to get away with saying, yo, Joe's capping. Now, if I tell you that 50 Cent lost the Grammy to Herbal Essence, we bring out the clip. And the winner is Herbal Essence. And so I'm not capping. This show is proving that I'm not Sir Cap-A-Lot.
It's fixing
shit up, right? Because they've been running with the narrative like Joe's a compulsive liar, Joe. No.
One thing the show had done is that there are times that he's actually being given his flowers.
Yo, but to speak to what you were just saying, do you know where clips come from? It was actually Fully Clips. Fully Clips. But we knew you had the Full Eclipse crew.
Yeah.
So we chopped it to just
We had to chop it down. We want no smoke.
You like that.
But even then, people are concerned that it's merely encouraging him to twist these narratives down the line.
Now why the fuck would y'all go and tell this nigga Fat Joe that? Y'all know how he get about shit, cause now I can hear the fucking story. 9 times out of 10, you know what Fat Joe gonna come back on the 2 podcasts later? Nigga Fat Joe gonna be like, remember, you know the Clips? Yeah. See, they got their name from me. No, I tell you no lies. They seen me go to the moon, and when I got to the moon, I performed, I don't wanna be a player no more. And mind you, that's not even my song, but I performed that on the moon. The Clips seen that and got their name from me, cause they seen I was up there performing music Eclipse and all that. Yeah. You know, when I went up there, that's what happened. Cause that's exactly what he gonna say. He gonna come back with a whole fucking story about how the Clips got their name from him.
However, it's fair to say that this kind of love that he got from Pusha isn't the norm. Instead, people are citing everything from his name not shifting from Fat Joe to Slim Joe after his weight loss, and his dubious beard as reasons why deception runs in his veins. It has got to the point that people are beginning to break down precisely how he devises his tales. The biggest problem is that no matter how much he lies, Joe has done so much in the game that you can't take it away from him. But in some ways, it does cast doubt over everything, even if it ensures his name keeps ringing out in the media and cultural circles.
No, he said some shit one time. He said he stopped somebody from getting raped when he was 9 years old. Like he said, came out. I'm like, he be saying some outrageous shit that was like, right. But he said so confident, like, but it's like you can't be 9 stopping somebody from getting. It's just like he says some shit that's just like incredibly. It can't be true. He said I think it's entertainment. I don't know if he really mean him for you to believe him.
I mean, we're all talking about it. Yeah, it's working.
Now more.
All right, if you enjoy videos like this, check out the other videos in my playlist that I got going on.